Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to go over what some young Republicans in a chat did. They went buck wild being a bunch of racists. And here come the chicken and watermelon. Wait until you see how fat all of them are. Ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't get no chicken and watermelon because they ate it all. Okay, wait until you see how big and fat these young Republicans are. They got a lot of nerve trying to talk about somebody. But see, it seems like ever since we pulled back and we are not going around them like we used to, they are literally crashing out. And, you know, many people are trying to, because these folks that did this are apparently leadership of this young Republican party group that they got. And this is how they were on here talking about Hitler and in words and chicken and watermelon and all that kind of stuff. I was like, you know what? We don't even expect anything decent from you at this point. I mean, seriously, we have seen this stuff for so long. It's hard to even expect anything halfway good from you at this point. You know, people are not trying to be around y'all because y'all crash out over everything. You got a problem with DEI, although white women were the biggest recipient with DEI, but you want to pin that on us. Then y'all are spraying up schools, spraying up churches, spraying up stores, and white supremacists on white supremacists, Charlie Kirk. After a while, people are done with y'all for real. I don't even know why you think anybody is trying to be around you at this point. So, look, y'all, let me share my screen so you can get an idea of what went on this live chat with these young Republicans. It went public. Somebody leaked it out to the public and it has since gone viral. So it's for us, it's just the usual. It goes back to what we say, we live rent free in their minds. We're always on their mind, even when we're not around them. The only thing they can do is sit around and think about us. Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right, let me share my screen so we can get started. All right. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. You should see Lawrence O'Donnell. Thank you. Yeah, I think there are issues on YouTube. That happened to me earlier this morning. I ended up having to reboot my machine. The screen kept going black, and I don't think it's you. I think that is happening on YouTube's end. It's something going on with YouTube. All right. Hmm.
Imagine you work for Donald Trump and his administration, and you get caught by Politico in what you thought was a private online group chat with people saying things like, I love Hitler, and saying it's a mistake to, quote, expect the Jew to be honest, end quote, along with multiple racist phrases, as well as talking about wanting to see people, quote, going to the gas chamber, end quote, which provokes the reply, quote, I'm ready to watch people burn now. Imagine what would happen to someone working in the Trump administration who's in group chats like that. What would you do if you were that Republican guy and Politico called you before publishing their investigative report about the I Love Hitler chat group that you're in? What would you say to Politico? He declined to comment. And he still has his job in the Trump administration. The Politico article came out today at 1:15 p.m., and Donald Trump has taken no action against the guy working for him who's in the I Love Hitler chat. Politico published their report today under the headline, I Love Hitler, Leaked Messages Expose Young Republicans' Racist Chat. Politico reports leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. The exchange is part of a trove of Telegram chats obtained by Politico and spanning more than 7 months of messages among young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The chat offers an unfiltered look at how a new generation of GOP activists talk when they think no one is listening. The group chat members spoke freely about the pressure to cow to Trump to avoid being called a rhino, the love of Nazis within their party's right wing, and the president's alleged work to suppress documents related to wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's child sex crimes. Trump's too busy burning the Epstein files, Alex Dwyer, the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, wrote in one instance. At least one person in the Telegram chat works in the Trump administration, Michael Bartels, who, according to his LinkedIn account, serves as a senior advisor in the Office of General Counsel within the U.S. Small Business Administration. Bartels did not have much to say in the chat, but he didn't offer any pushback against the offensive rhetoric in it either. He declined to comment. And tonight, Michael Bartels still has his job working for Donald Trump and working for J.D. Vance, because participating in an I Love Hitler group chat is apparently not a reason for Donald Trump to fire you. Donald Trump is eagerly trying to fire federal workers these days, not one of whom has said, I love Hitler. Elon Musk and Donald Trump this year have fired thousands of federal workers, but they're keeping the guy in the I Love Hitler chat. They don't want to lose him. Michael Bartels. Michael Bartels declined to comment to Politico after he got caught in the I Love Hitler chat at the same time that Donald Trump falsely claims to be trying to purify the universities of America by cleansing any trace of anti-Semitism in the student body of those institutions or the faculty. And they have never found an I Love Hitler group chat at any one of those universities. Donald Trump has never found anything like that. Donald Trump has never found anything like the poison that someone in his own administration is trafficking in. After Politico's stunning expose of the virulent racism and anti-Semitism among the leaders of young Republicans, old Republican Donald Trump was not angry at any one of them. He wasn't angry at the I Love Hitler guy. He wasn't angry at the guy who said the thing about the watermelon people. He wasn't angry at the guy who said, I'm ready to watch people burn now in gas chambers. But the old Republican Donald Trump was very angry at the front-running candidate for mayor of New York City, who has never said, I love Hitler, who has never said anything like the vicious poison that so delights the leaders of young Republicans. Donald Trump falsely accused the front-running candidate for mayor of New York City today of being a communist.
He's a communist. He's not a socialist, by the way. There's a big difference. He's a communist. He's down and dirty. He's a communist.
Which should have provoked the question, Mr. President, what is a communist? Donald Trump obviously has no idea, because he also said, these are his words, quote, I mean, communist policies, which is proven for thousands of years doesn't work, you know? Those are his words. The question he will never be asked by the almost entirely compliant White House press corps is, who invented communism thousands of years ago, according to you? Communism is just a generation or two older than Donald Trump, but he obviously doesn't know that. He just knows that communists, in American political usage, is a very bad word. It's the worst thing you can be politically in the United States, historically, and so that's why Donald Trump throws it around. Like the word tariff, he has no idea what it means. And so Donald Trump spent the day angry at all sorts of people, as he does every day, but not even slightly bothered by Michael Bartels, the guy who works for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and was caught in the I Love Hitler group chat. George Stephanopoulos has never said, I love Hitler, but Donald Trump is very angry at George.
Take questions from ABC Fake News after what you did with Stephanopoulos to the Vice President of the United States. I don't take questions from ABC Fake News. Brian, go ahead.
So that's Donald Trump drawing attention once again to the persistence of George Stephanopoulos on Sunday in trying to get the Vice President of the United States to answer a very simple question. Did Donald Trump's so-called border czar, Tom Homan, take $50,000 in cash in a paper bag from undercover FBI agents who recorded a secret video of Tom Homan taking that money last year? Under George Stephanopoulos' relentless questioning about the $50,000 in cash, the vice president was forced to finally admit he doesn't know if Donald Trump's border czar accepted the $50,000.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000 or not?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it illegal to take a payment for doing services? The FBI has not prosecuted him. I've never seen any evidence that he's engaged in criminal wrongdoing. Nobody has accused Tom of violating a crime, even the far left media like yourself. So I'm actually not sure what the precise question is. Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question.
Donald Trump met with the president of Argentina today and agreed to give Argentina a $20 billion handout that the New York Times reports, quote, will benefit Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's allies and the interests of other billionaires invested in Argentina. The $20 billion can help support the government-run healthcare system of Argentina, which includes government-run medical facilities that are open and available to everyone in Argentina, because Argentina has more socialism than we do. And Donald Trump has no problem with Argentinian socialism. Donald Trump and every Republican in Washington continue to pursue a budget that will take healthcare away from millions of Americans. And when asked if he has a new strategy to pass that Republican budget, which got only 49 votes in the United States Senate today, the Republican Speaker of the House actually said today, quote, I don't have any strategy. But he did say that the Republicans are trying to, quote, keep illegal aliens off taxpayer-funded health care. That is the new Republican lie to support the Republican budget argument. Republicans have been lying about Democratic policy proposals for literally 100 years now. They lied about virtually everything Franklin Delano Roosevelt proposed, including Social Security, which they said was communism. They lied about Medicare, which they also said was communism when it was proposed. And here's Newt Gingrich lying in 1993 about President Bill Clinton's first budget bill.
We have all too many people in the Democratic administration who are talking about bigger government, more bureaucracy, more programs, and higher taxes. I believe that that will, in fact, kill the current recovery and put us back in a recession. It might take a year and a half or 2 years, but it'll happen.
In fact, one of Newt's favorite phrases, in fact, the Clinton budget passed by exactly one vote in the House and one vote in the Senate, and it included the biggest tax increase in history at the time. And after that bill was passed, the American economy soared every day of the Clinton administration. Republicans insisted the Clinton budget would destroy the economy, and in fact, it pushed the American economy to new heights. Now, I don't mean to suggest that every Republican has been lying about every Democratic proposal for 100 years. There were some Republicans who voted for Social Security on the final vote. There were some Republicans who voted for Medicare on the final vote. But the history of Republicans lying about Democratic proposals is much more consistent than the occasional history of Republicans trying to reach reasonable compromise with Democrats, which they have done from time to time on certain issues, but not now.
We have some bombshell news right now. Politico just dropped an exclusive article showing text messages between young Republican leaders from across the country praising Hitler, using the N-word dozens of times, making racist, xenophobic, and absolutely abhorrent remarks over Telegram, hoping that these messages would never see the light of day. Politico just dropped several months worth of Telegram messages from leaders, young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. I encourage you to go read all of these messages on Politico's website because it's truly bombshell and stunning. And it shows how young Republicans are interacting with one another behind the scenes right now, in an era where the Trump White House has really enabled some of the worst language and actions we've seen. They joke about the gas chambers, slavery, rape, and more, all while trying to court the White House's endorsement, Trump's endorsement in a Republican Party race. Spread the word. People need to see this. Follow along for all the news you need to know about, and go check out Politico's story right now.
Y'all, so I just read that article about the young Republicans at the turning point. And when I tell y'all that the whole time I was reading, because they didn't hold anything back. They talked about grape. They talked about schmurda. They literally said they wanted to send people to the showers. Y'all know what that means. Go look at your history. Go look at your Holocaust history, child. They talked about putting people in gas chambers. Some of them were so explicit as to what they wanted to do to women. So when you hear people say that not all Republicans are racist, but all racists are Republican, I feel like we need to believe that. I feel like we need to believe it, because the way they talked about people of color, Black people in particular, and the things they wanted to do, I'm going to say this though. Y'all need to get new material, because y'all been using the same racist tropes for 200 years. It don't mean nothing, right? Nobody cares when you say that ridiculous stuff. But y'all need to seek help. Y'all really need to seek help. And the other thing that I want to say is, who are the people that are raising y'all? Because I just know some of y'all, Meemaw, Peepaw, Daddy, and Mama done committed crimes. I'm sure of it. I can't prove none of it, but I'm sure they done committed crimes and made you accessories after the fact, before the fact, in the fact. I don't know, but I'm just saying. It is terrible and disgusting. That's it. Oh, okay. Okay, bye.
So over the weekend, the Young Republicans, or the Young Republicans group chat was leaked, and thousands of messages from young Republican leaders were exposed, joking about slavery, talking about they love Hitler, talking about how Trump is going to endorse them, They're ready for people to go to the gas chamber, call the black people the N-word, black people are monkeys, and blah, blah, blah. And what's interesting about this group message is that they talk about what would happen and how embarrassed they would be if the group chat ever leaked, but still continue to talk crazy. And if you don't know what the Young Republican organization is, it's an organization across the entire country. Not only do they have the head organization, they also have chapters in each state, from little young Republicans between 18 to like maybe 30, 40. And these people basically are people who are considering running for any type of office or just doing any political work. There's also like a Young Democrats too. But yeah, and this group message leaking is exactly why I encourage young people, especially that look like me, to get out and do the work, because we see the other side already has, they're grooming their people, and we see what type of people they are. And then you have Vice President J.D. Vance said it's crazy to condemn any of these young men or women for being a part of the group chat, as if they literally weren't saying they're ready for the United States to turn into Nazi Germany. But this just exposes where we are right now, and honestly where we're headed.
So Politico has published an article, and the reason why I have trigger warning at the top is because I can imagine in 2025 still talking about gas chambers is pretty traumatic. In this article, there are leaked messages between young Republicans and their racist chats on Telegram. Right. I'm not going to post I'll post the article because the article does have like the group of them, but I'm not going to post like the context that they give. You can go look at the article yourself and you can see the context. It's horrendous, and it doesn't shock black people. Right. We've been telling y'all these Republicans, they're sitting online, gaslighting y'all and making them seem like they're the good guys. And if they had their way, you would literally be unalive. Of course, they're in this chat talking about slavery, talking about black people, referring to them as watermelon people and monkeys. It's pretty horrific, actually. And again, I already brought it up where they talked about like gas chambers and stuff. These people are scums of the earth. And and the article does give names. So there's names to these things, right? There's one guy, I can't say his last name. I'm a butcher his last name, but I'll put his picture up. Peter Gunta. If I said that wrong, I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. There is a Vermont. I'm trying to find him. Oh yeah. Samuel Douglas, Vermont state senator, is in this group chat as well. So there's a lot of people on here, man. There's another young lady as well. Her name is Rachel Hope. She's in here. They don't have a picture of her, but I'm pretty sure you can find her. It's a lot of it's quite a few of them, man. And these people are walking among you, trying to gaslight you and make it seem like, oh no, we're not racist. We're not. We love black people. We love other races and stuff. Come on, bro. Come on.
According to a newly leaked group chat, when young Republican leaders think they're among friends, they joke about sexual assault, fantasize about ethnic cleansing, and praise Hitler. I'm not being dramatic. These newly obtained messages show them saying things like, I love Hitler, talking about putting their opponents in gas chambers, and calling black people monkeys. As someone who works in youth politics, but on the other side of the aisle, I'm not at all surprised, but I am deeply frustrated because we have been screaming from the rooftops for years that the people we are organizing against are literal Nazis. But every time we bring that up, we get accused of having hostile rhetoric. Well, what do you call it when someone loves Hitler and wants to put their opponents in a gas chamber? That's a Nazi. I'm also frustrated because this didn't just happen. This is the result of the Republican Party being the only one to take seriously the need to invest in new media, in podcasts, in content creators to be able to reach the next generation. It has never been more obvious that we are so far behind, that we have lost the plot to an extent that the next generation of leaders in this country are talking about the Hitler aesthetic. This video doesn't even touch the full breadth of horrific things that are said in this group chat. There's thousands of messages. I would get blocked for saying half of the things that they say, but I am so deeply concerned about the safety and security of women, of minorities, of gay people in this country, and we all should be after seeing what the next generation of Republican leaders is planning.
Young Republican text messages are coming out public, and it is creating quite the uproar. I saw a video about different endorsements that some of these Republicans have received, and alarms went off for me, big alarms. So let's talk about just one of the young Republicans in that text chat, the one who said that we should have chambers for anybody who votes against them. Peter Gunta. Now, I ran into a video that said that Turning Point USA was one of his endorsers. He had an endorsement from Turning Point. Now, when I speak about Charlie Kirk, which I have many, many times, and I say that he did no good, he was speaking out of hate, he was speaking out of divisiveness, and he wanted to oppress people who were unlike him. And I think that when we show these text messages, this shows exactly what I meant. I've been sitting here trying to do research on the history of Peter Gunta and his ties and his endorsements, and pages are disappearing from the internet, and they are disappearing today. And you know they're disappearing today because you can still see the tags, but you can't go in and see the page itself. Here you'll see that there was a tag for the Albany County Young Republicans Club endorsement for Peter Gunta. Yeah, that's been removed. There is a tribute to Charlie Kirk, which is tagging Peter Gunta. There is Peter Gunta's X account where he posted, "They have no idea what they've unleashed. This is our turning point." When I say Charlie Kirk was using rhetoric to create all of these issues, this is exactly what I mean. These young Republicans were big followers of Charlie Kirk, big believers in his word. And this is where they took it. This text chain that we're sitting here looking at today. This is where they took his word.
Hey guys, it's Mandy. And I've been looking at a lot of videos of the leaked Republican chat for these college kids, whatever. And I don't know why anybody's shocked. And I'm not trying to make that as like, and that's not a judgmental thing, but I just want to say I grew up in a small town and I had very liberal parents, if you will. And I had a lot of black and brown friends, and I obviously knew racism was a thing, but I didn't really experience like people saying that were white, saying the N-word and stuff until I went to Auburn. When I first moved to Auburn freshman year, I developed a friendship with these boys from the South that all went to high school together in South Georgia. I had never heard people say the N-word more than that group of people. Like, it made me uncomfortable. Like, and I said something to them multiple times. And I'm just a 19-year-old kid, right? And then what killed me the most is that they had a black friend, and anytime he was around, they definitely did not say that. But then when he wasn't, they would say it like it's nothing. And I'm not talking about like, they listen to a lot of rap music too. And I'm not talking about like when we're listening to rap music, singing along, being ignorant. I'm talking about just like a lot. And no, I'm not still friends with him. And I was not still friends with him after that semester either, because it made me physically ill. And, you know, I'm not saying they, you know, hopefully today they've grown. It's 20 something years later, but people don't speak that way from nothing. They hear their parents speak that way. They hear other people speak that way. They're encouraged to speak that way. And the sad part is most of them don't think anything's wrong with that. And they genuinely think they're better. And they teased me for being part of the Auburn Democrats. Me and my other friend, the rest of them were all Republicans. And I mean, that was fine. Like, I didn't care that they were Republicans. I was from the South. I was used to that. But it was the vulgar language and the just so judgy. And it's sad that it still happens today.
Hey y'all. So have y'all seen this story with these young Republicans, a young Republican group where they basically got their chats, and Politico basically did a whole expose, got their chats, and there were over 2,900 pages of chats. And within these chats, they were making racist comments, comments about SA, comments about obviously Black people, Jewish people, really just kind of went on and on, all in this little group chat. And it just kind of goes back to this whole thing where, people want to act like Trump is not a racist, but meanwhile, everybody in his party is doing racist shit. So, yeah, William Hendricks was one of the young men. This is him here. Williams is part of the Kansas City Young Republicans. He was the vice chair. He tweets called Black people monkeys and used the N-word more than 12 times within his chats. We got Bobby Walker, who was the New York State vice chair for the Young Republicans. He said that grape was epic. Okay. Peter Junta, he was the vice chair of New York Young Republicans. He joked about Hitler and sending people to the gas. You know what? He also made comments that he was so happy to see a group of young Republicans supporting slavery. And you look at these people, and they look like exactly like what they are: mediocre, obese white men who were never picked, never chosen. And this is their opportunity to actually feel like some sort of a man. And so they get on these sites and they make these disgusting comments because it's their only way to feel like they got something going on. It's the only way to feel acceptance. Mr. Lil Bobby Walker, he done already deleted his social media, is running like a coward. You've got the other ones over here trying to make their little apologies, and I didn't understand what I was doing at the time, and all the fake bullshit they always try to do. But the reality is that party is racist. If you voted for Trump, there's no way you can get around saying that you at the very least align with racism. And in my book, if you align with racism, you're racist. And you really just see how they really feel. It's not surprising. I mean, I saw some news people saying like, oh my God, this is, shocking discovery. It's not shocking to Black people because this is what we deal with all the time. We know y'all sit behind closed doors and call us all kind of N-words and say all kind of stuff about us. That's never been a secret. We know people that probably even profess to be our friends are sitting here saying N-words behind closed doors. We know this. It's not shocking to us, but the reality is stuff like this continues to need to be exposed because y'all not finna walk around saying this stuff and thinking you finna just get away with it. Now y'all want to sit there like little cowards because it's really what you are. Like the reality is they would never say this stuff to anybody's face. Look at them. They don't look like they could even bust a fucking grape. Okay. But this is what we're dealing with in this party. And this is showing y'all how they are indoctrinating these young people. And this is why they're banning books. And this is why they're trying to get in your education department and change your education for your students and your children, because they want to indoctrinate them to believe this kind of BS. This is what they like. Bottom line, the Trump party is the racist party, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is what they believe, this is what they feel, and this is what they're saying. It is what it is.
Reportedly used more than 250 times, including racist and homophobic ones. The outlet reports that at least one texter lost their job for this, and another had their job offer rescinded, and at least two of them apologized. High-profile state Republicans like Republican Representative Lee Stefanik have condemned the messages, and the young Republicans called the chains vile, disgraceful, and inexcusable. But Vice President J.D. Vance is taking a different approach tonight, citing the text of a Democratic candidate for Virginia's Attorney General from a couple of years ago, in which he suggested a lawmaker get 2 bullets to the head. Vance writes, quote, This is far worse than anything said in a college group chat, and the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence. It's an interesting choice on Vance's part.
Yeah, I think the Vice President missed an opportunity here. I mean, these are, young Republicans, disgusting. Well, they're learning a hard life lesson on the public stage right now. They need to grow up and not, say stupid and hateful and just disgusting things. I think the Vice President could have really used this moment as a learning moment, and encouraging these young men and women, I don't know who they were, but to be better and to, denounce what they've said, to move on and be better. These are young Republicans. And so I don't hold necessarily anyone responsible. They're young. They need to make mistakes. They need to apologize and see the error and move forward. And I wish the Vice President would have said that. I don't understand the excuse for the Democratic nominee for Attorney General in Virginia when he texted, even worse things as an adult, as a sitting office holder, about a colleague in the state assembly. And so they're not comparable. They really aren't. These comments are disgusting. I really hope these young men and women learn from this, learn that, how wrong it was and become better. And I really hope, I'm glad to see a number of Republicans step up and condemn them as well, because they're powerful. But I do think to say that this somehow justifies that Jay Jones did nothing wrong.
You just did exactly the same thing that JD Vance did, except the fact that you denounced the words, but you immediately pivoted. I would have brought it up, but you immediately pivoted to the Democrat instead of focusing on the fact that this is a pattern. The saddest thing about this story is that it was not the least bit surprising to me. I mean, I don't think anyone who I know who's familiar with where the Republican Party has been going the past decade or so is the least, hey, is that professional? What's JD? It's literally called out Trump Hitler. What are you talking about? JD made it sound like yourself. That's how he best.
Kristen, also, Ben, as we played multiple times here, Trump has repeatedly called his Democratic opponents fascist. So that argument does not hold.
And there's a whole history of racism in the Republican Party. It started in 19... had slavery, we were against it. Okay, let me do a quick cut. You're a part of slavery. So let's focus this on your history. Slavery is the Democratic Party. Let's be honest and tell us about Black history.
On that one, every American should be able to tell you about it. I have to be able to say that the Democratic Party is the party is sick. They're not the only retarded. Let me just say, let's not hold you, Marty.
History is out here. As I do think that there's something interesting. Look, I just want to say, I think Kristen is 100% right. This was an opportunity that was missed, right? To say, we draw the line somewhere in our politics. And it's not the first time that but Vance has seen an opportunity like that and completely blown past it. Back in February, Vance and Trump called for the rehiring of a DOJ staffer. He quit over racist posts, and they did rehire that individual. Well, I think let's not get distracted by some of the other parts of this, but why is it that, he's unwilling to just say, this is disgusting, this is vile, this has no place in the Republican Party, cut it out?
Yeah, two things I think can be true.
I hate being right all the time. It's really painful because I have so many people in my comment about the Bad Bunny coming to the Super Bowl situation, and it's not about race. It's never been about race. The liberals are all wrong. Yet a young Republican group chat just got leaked, and Politico got their hands on it. And these are the chairs and the vice chairs from around the country. So these are the people at the top. Some of them are supported by the largest people in our government. So let's talk about what they said. They used the N-word multiple times. They called Black people watermelon people. They said, I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball about Black athletes. They said, I love Schmittler, and that all their opponents are going to go to the gas chambers. They made jokes about grape and slavery, and they called someone, the F word that rhymes with maggot and says, stay in the closet. I guarantee majority of the people in that group chat are obviously staying in the closet. They commented expecting the Jew to be honest. They referred to the train tracks they built with the Chinese. They used the term 1488, which is a known white supremacist code. And then they just made tons of memes and jokes celebrating violence, genocide, and racial stereotypes. So please tell me again how your young leaders are the representation of your party. And they're saying things like that. So what is it? Is it race or is it not? Because from what I'm seeing, it's pretty obvious.
So, y'all, why the Young Republicans group chat has been leaked, y'all. And let me tell you, they're going after blacks, Jewish people, everybody. Some of the text messages from some people saying that they love Hitler. Chris Kobach, who's the vice chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, he used the N-word and he used homophobic words, y'all, in the group chat. Also, a similar member, Mike Johnson, chief of staff, Peter Gunata, I think that's how you pronounce it. He wrote and said that he loved Hitler, and he joked about gas chambers in the Holocaust in the group chat. If Republicans don't come out and condemn this type of bullshit that these young Republicans are doing and what they're saying in that group chat, then that tells you about your representative. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. But it was black people or someone of color made a group chat and they say these stuff about Caucasians and everything, it will be a problem. Bullshit.
So much for turning down the rhetoric. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Not all MAGAs are racist, but all racists tend to be MAGA. Bombshell report yesterday came out by Politico. Thousands of private messages reveal young Republicans leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and sexually harassing women. MAGA Republicans, these are your young leaders. These are your young racist pieces of shit leaders who are overweight and can't get girlfriends, and they're bitter because they didn't have friends in high school. And they glorify 1930s Germany and they think it's cool. And they want gas chambers to come to America. MAGA Republicans, these are your young leaders. Good job. You raised them well. Here's some examples behind me. You can screenshot it, read them for yourself. I'm not going to read these because TikTok will flag my account for reading them. Here's one example. They referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about sexually harassing their enemies and driving them to suicide and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. You'll see a similarity in a couple pictures I'm about to show you, but this is William Hendricks, who was a ranking member of the GOP's National Young Republicans until yesterday, when it was discovered that he used racist and homophobic slurs at least 200 times on Telegram. He was immediately fired. Hey, William, words have consequences. Or how about Bobby Walker? Does he look similar to the other guy? Former vice chair of New York State Young Republicans. He deleted his Twitter account because, well, people were really getting on him. Reported that Walker referred to sexually harassing women as epic use slurs and participated in a thread about sending opponents to the gas chamber. Here's Peter Junta. See your resemblance to the first two guys I showed you? In referring to an upcoming vote on if he should be chair of the Young Republicans National Federation, this racist piece of shit said, everyone who votes no for him is going to the gas chamber. You can go to Politico and see this whole text chat. It's pretty disgusting and vile. MAGAs, these are your young Republicans right here. These are your young racist pieces of shit, fat, overweight, tiny little men that can't get a girlfriend, and they're angry. So they call out people who are brown and black, and they talk about 1930s Germany because they can't get laid. These are young Republicans. These are people under the age of, I think 40 is the Young Republicans group. So parents, what are you teaching your children here? I mean, what's going on?
There was an investigation that came out yesterday. It was over 7 months. And it uncovered a signal chat with a bunch of young, primarily male Republicans. Now, this is what they said, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it needs to be said. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Great. I love Hitler. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball. When do we start bullying, dude? He also hates the Jews. They love the watermelon people. Stay in the closet, F-A blankety blank blank T. This girl is fully R-E-T-A-R-D-E-D. I'm ready to watch people burn. These are the people that listen to the racist podcaster. These are the people that voted for a rapist and a white supremacist president. And I'm going to keep saying it again and again and again and again. This is about one thing, white supremacy. This didn't just start yesterday. This is what they've always been, culture wars. This is how Hitler came to power. This is how Benito Mussolini came to power. You blame anybody that doesn't fit into your demographic. The Muslims, the immigrants, the Latinos, the Mexicans, the brown people, anybody that's not white, right? But if you're a white man, you can rape women. You can cause an insurrection. You could be a 34 count felon. You could cheat on your wife. You could ask for the execution of black people. You can question the birth of Barack Obama. Grab women by the PUSSY. Make fun of disabled people. Hide top secret documents. Try to overthrow an election. But somehow that's perfectly fine. But we're going to joke about putting people in showers like the Holocaust. This is the problem with our country. And I'm tired of people on the left and the right saying it's a Democrat, it's a Republican thing. No, it's not. It's white supremacy. And this study shows exactly why we're here. And it goes back once again to the election. Do you think that the people that said these things were ever going to vote for a black woman? Never. Not a chance in hell. They would rather burn the country to the ground. And that's the problem. We as a society refuse to say it. I'm going to post a video in a couple of days about Gavin Newsom. He was asked, is this a racist country? Ooh, well, that's a really loaded question. No, it's fucking not. It's not. Yes, we are. There you go. Problem solved. We are a racist country. We've always been a racist country to benefit the white men. That's the problem. People don't want to have that conversation. And if it has to be me that starts this movement to actually address the insecure white men in this country, then that's what it's going to be. If that's what my channel has to be, then I'm going to do it. Because until we deal with the remnants of the lost cause from the Civil War, we will never be a great country. We have never been a great country for everybody. And if you don't like it, once again, ship your ass back to England. Because this isn't your country. It's not my country. It's everybody's country. And these insecure little guys have no idea what it is to be a patriot or to be a decent human being. Have you heard Mike Johnson speak out? Nope. Have you heard the rapist in chief speak out? Nope. How about J.D. Vance? Nope. How about Pete Hegseth? Nope. Caroline Leavitt? Nope. No member of Congress from the Republican Party. No member of the Senate Republican Party. Not a damn thing. Nothing to see here. I didn't hear. I don't know. Is it okay, Daddy Trump? Can I say something? I don't want to get in trouble with you. Please don't send me a mean tweet, Daddy Trump. Oh, please endorse me, Daddy. They're beholden to an earthly king. They're false idol. Until we deal with white supremacy, nothing else matters. It's time that we address it, the original sin of this country.
Bitch, Politico just dropped the craziest, fireest bomb on us. Okay, so tell me why it was a group chat on Telegram in which these Republican leaders during the last elections was all chatting with each other, right? Baby, Politico dropped the text, the whole text thread, including the names of the people that was saying all this racist shit, calling the black people monkeys and the watermelon people talking about how they was going rape the people that voted no. I swear to God, let's take a look. This shit is crazy. Okay, so with the boom, the bam, look. So everyone that votes no goes to the gas chambers, saying how they love Hitler. Are you going to do whatever it takes? This all this honestly feels like a sex group. I'm not gonna lie. This feels like a sex cult. This feels like a sex group. When do we start bullying? Dude, boom, they're dead. They love the watermelon people. Yo, he also hates the Jews. This girl is fully it starts with the R, ends with a D. It has a T in it. Stated, it's a word that we not supposed to use that describes people that are mentally underdeveloped due to cognitive disabilities. Yeah. Stay in the closet, FAGGOT. And everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the G chambers. Kick the B. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball. I'm ready to watch people burn now. Right. So I know y'all wondering, like, who in the hell are these young Republicans that are saying this stuff? So here's a few more of their chats. You can pause it to read. Boom, boom, boom. I know y'all see this. This is crazy that they talking like this, right? So boom, right there at the bottom. Peter, Gunta, Bobby Walker, and Katie, Joe Maligno, Rachel Hope, Alex Dwyer. Yes, they were all in there talking about this. Talking about, can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. Joe Maligno stated, who previously identified himself as the general counsel of the New York State Young Republicans, wrote back. Oh, y'all, y'all is some shit right now. Oh my God. So the leaders of the young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat was ever leaked, right? But they kept typing anyways. They referred to this is stuff that they posted in their own group chat where they was like, damn, like if we get caught up on this group chat chain, they gonna have our head on the mantelpiece. And indeed we will, but I'm trying to clock T. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about graping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believe support slavery. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up, okay? Now, I know for a fact, only because I have in my possession on a separate drive, some other group chats where a lot of people that was pro-poly was also they were also doing similar stuff like this in secret group chains and chats. Now, what I do know is, okay, a lot of people that were in these Republican groups were also, and Zios were also making fake pages and targeting people of color during the election. I know that for certain. I know that for fact. And a lot of us know that. Like a lot of us saw it in real time and no, it wasn't all bots because a lot of the time they would gaslight us into thinking it was all bots. Some of them were Republicans. Some of them were people that were claiming to be pro-poly, but really was trolling from behind fake accounts. And another portion of them were Zios. And they would come in waves and they would all do it around the exact same time. So this is only one piece to the big puzzle. But trust and believe, them other group chats is for sure going to get leaked. And if you think about deleting it right now, baby, you got to be quicker than that because I'm telling you, by the time that thing made it to my telly, I was like, no fucking way. And there was another person that it was brought to me particularly. It was brought to me and somebody was asking me to out him. And that wasn't the first time, but it was like 2 or 3 times where they was asking me to out this particular person. I'm like, that may be true that they doing that, but I'm not about to be the one to have people focus on this crazy stuff that they're doing in these discords, because it's not just in here, it's on Discord too. It's on Discord too. I'm not going to be the one that exposed the situation because, one, that's counterproductive to what's going on and what we're trying to focus on with the elections and with Palestine and Congo Sudan. 2, them people going to do that regardless, and it will be exposed one day. I verbatim said this to 2 to 3 different people that sent me over some stuff on Telegram. And I said that their time will come. They will be exposed, but it won't be by my hand. And sure enough, I never saw this text chain, but I know very similar text chains that photos that were sent over to me. And I said, I'm gonna just let it play out. Because if I do it, I'm an angry black woman who's trying to get it, who's trying to collect a quick buck. If I do it, but seeing it come to light, best believe the remainder of them other group chats will be leaked. Believe that. Believe that. This is crazy. This is crazy, boo. Oh, also in around the time, old girl Tori got into it with somebody else. I don't know if y'all remember Tori. She got into it with another person on here. Some other text chains had came out. And I don't know how many people got there, but the way y'all was talking about, just the way y'all was talking about the situation in general was real foul. It was grimy and filthy. And yeah, this is nothing new. There are more on Discord. Now, according to these chats, Peter, Giunta, Peter, what's up with you and saying the N-word so often? Bobby Walker, what's up with y'all and throwing around the N-word? William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words "igga" and "igga," variations of racial slurs, but they was all using it on the text chain. They was all using it and referred to grape as epic. They were excited about graping people. Who at the time was the chair of the same organization, wrote in a message sent in June, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Giunta was referred to an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Free Federation, the GOP's $15,000 member political organization for Republicans between 18 to 40 years old. I'm going to create some of the greatest psychological torture methods. This is what he said. Known to men. We only want true believers. He continued. 2 members of the chat responded. Child, this shit is crazy.
William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words NIGGA and NIGGUH, variations of the racial slur, more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, referred to the R word as epic. Peter Giunta, I hope I butchered your stupid fucking name, who at the time was chair of the same organization, wrote a message sent in June that, quote, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Giunta was referring to an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Federation, the GOP's 15,000-member political organization for Republicans between 18 and 40 years old. Quote, I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers, he continued. To which 2 members of the chat responded. If they vote for us, why would they be gassed? When do we bring that side out? Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in, take a nice shower and relax. Boom, they're dead. That exchange is part of a trove of Telegram chats obtained by Politico and spanning more than 7 months of messages among young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The chat offers an unfiltered look at how a new generation of GOP activists talk when they think no one is listening. Which is insane considering some of them are willing to admit stuff like this in a public debate.
Because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say I'm a fascist. Yeah, I am.
And thankfully, that asshat got fired from his job as a cloud engineer. And since Politico began making inquiries on this story, one member of the group chat is no longer employed at their job, and another's job offer was rescinded. Oh, and get this. Prominent New York Republicans, including Representative Elise Stefanik and State Senate Minority Leader Rob Ort, have denounced the chat. But that comes off pretty hollow when you hear about this exchange. Mixed into formal conversations about whipping votes, social media strategy, and logistics, the members of the chat slung around an array of slurs, which Politico is republishing to show how they spoke. Epithets like the F slur, the R slur, and the N word appeared more than 251 times combined. In one instance, Walker, who at the time was a staffer for Ort, you know, the guy who just denounced the chat, talked about how a mutual friend of some in the chat, quote, dated this very obese Indian woman for a period of time. Giunta responded that the woman was not Indian. And then Samuel Douglas, this fucking neckbeard, who is a state senator, replied she just didn't bathe off.
Thousands of messages shared in a group chat of young Republicans is revealing some racist thoughts that they even worried about being leaked. Well, those exchanges have been leaked, obtained by Politico, and are part of a Telegram chat among young Republican leaders in the following states: New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. New York State politics reporter Jason Bieferman is one of the journalists who wrote about this for Politico. Jason, tell us about this story, how it came to you, and what was exchanged in these Telegram messages based on what your reporting has revealed.
Politico obtained over 7 months of thousands and thousands of messages in a Telegram group chat between, like you said, leaders in the young Republican state organizations in Arizona, New York, Kansas, and Vermont. Now, it's kind of a misnomer, young Republicans, because it's called the Young Republicans, but these are, full-grown adults, 18 to 40 years old. And over the course of these 7 months, they exchanged messages with, extremely anti-Semitic and racist comments. They referred to Black people as monkeys or the watermelon people. They called rape epic. They talked about the love of Hitler with factions of their party, or even supporting slavery. This was a chat with members elected to lead their states within a prominent Republican youth political organization that numbers 15,000 people. And they were in a campaign to lead this organization nationally. My colleague and I, my colleague Emily No, we really looked into this and wanted to see, why are they speaking like that to each other? And does this have anything to do with kind of the way that the norms of our political discourse have been changing, some would say, since President Trump came to power?
And Jason, key question: no one disputes the validity of these text exchanges on Telegram. No one told you, oh, that didn't happen. They've all agreed that this is what happened and these are real.
That's correct. We really did our due diligence here. We reached out to every single member of the chat who was quoted in the story. We told them exactly what we were going to say, and they never once pointed to a single quotation and said, that's not true. In their statements, they opened the possibility that perhaps the chats were doctored, but the bulk of their statements were really apologizing and acknowledging that these messages which they wrote were harmful and hateful. And there's already been there were 2 people that lost their job, that they lost their job before the story even came out. And now, since its publication, we've had 2 other people lost their jobs. So already 4 people have been fired as a result of this story. And we're seeing statements from Schumer, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and others. And we're going to really see how the fallout continues to play out on this.
And when we have more on that, I hope you'll come back. Jason Beefman at Politico, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So look like more of them have been terminated from their jobs, which, in my opinion, it's a slap on the wrist, you know. But of course, you haven't heard about the ones that were working for Donald Trump getting fired. Don't hold your breath on that. But they're offended by history, though, right? They're offended by the real history of America being taught. But just like the Doge guy that got caught putting racist posts out on the internet, he got rehired. But Donald Trump wants us to believe teaching slavery is just awful, but rehiring a racist, that's perfectly fine. This place is a joke. It is a joke. And this is why America, as the years roll by, you get less and less support from all of the other nations on this world. And I don't blame them for not getting behind you, because look at what you do. Look at what you do. So, am I surprised? No. I think what they did is more common than uncommon, y'all. I really do. I think when they come together and they think nobody is around but each other, everybody around or everybody in the chat look like them. Yes, I believe 9 times out of 10, this is what they do. It's more normal than unnormal, because when it gets in the media will try to make it seem like it's some rare occurrence. Oh, it just happened once. No, it happens all the time. It is a common occurrence. So, wow. Mm-mm-mm. But you know what? I'm glad it leaked. Now, a couple of them are now trying to come out and apologize. No, don't apologize. You meant that shit. You meant everything you said. No, 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 no. Don't come out with no fake out apology. You meant every word of what you said when you were using the N word and watermelon people and monkey. You meant every damn word. Don't be trying to say you're sorry now. So if y'all want to see more of the post Politico, they expose this thing all the way. And from what I understand, they still got more they're going to expose on these people. So check out Political, y'all, if you want to see the actual chat they were in and everything they were said. They literally post everything, and it's still out there. So, y'all, this is my final live stream for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. I want to thank you for also supporting my small business. I got some great things coming out. I just made an edge growth cream that's going to be coming out probably like the beginning of November. And let me tell you something, this stuff works great. You will see results. If you got thin edges, you will see results in exactly a month if you use it as I instruct you to. You will see your edges coming all the way back in. So that's going to be coming out in about a month. And I still got the Chebe. People probably wondering why the Chebe butter didn't come out. The consistency was not coming out the way I want, but I finally got it the way I want it. So it's just a matter of getting everything in jars, and I'm going to still send it out to people that I have in my email that want to test the product. I will be getting that out soon now that I got the consistency right. So that's the update. Um, Thank you for all of your support, and with the Cash Apps and also Zelle and PayPal and even my GoFundMe. I thank you all. So y'all, please have a wonderful night. And I got 2 people. Shawnette, true believer of the Most High, thank you so much for your super sticker. And Curly Locks, thank you for your super sticker. And I thank both of you for your support for my channel. Shalom, family.